Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Black Lodge. I am David at Drinks Whisky. Hope you are keeping well. Happy Burns Night Eve, whatever you want to call it. I hope you are all keeping the glasses full. I hope the fridge has haggis in it. If not, sort it out, unless you can't get haggis, because I know it's not the easiest thing to come across these days if you're out and about outside of the UK. I can already see people have been in the chat early doors. It's great to have you in. Who have we got? Let's see. We've got Tim. Tim, welcome in. I'm just going to do a wee bit of that, sort that out. How is everybody? How have you been? I need to sort my countdown launch, because last week I had that intro, that kind of cold start, cold open, so I never had the countdown, and then I pressed it and it instantly started. So need to sort that out. There's always some weird tech thing going on. Right up to the last minute there, I was trying to get things sorted, as you know. But we're in, we're going. Thomas Jones in, Tom. Great to have you in, Thomas. Dutch Jura's in. Awesome. We've got the Surge Hunter. You can see he's in. But his comments aren't coming up on here for some reason. There we go. It's yourself, is it? What's going on here? Why are these all different orders? Let me sort this out. I know why it is. Live chat. There we go. That should sort everybody out. Hopefully. Lowlander's in. Great to have you in, mate. Derek's in. Welcome in, Derek. Springer G's in. There you go. All the usual suspects are in. Brilliant to see you all. Do let me know, Glenn. Great to have you in, mate. And I'm sure there's more that I've missed in that intro. How are yous all? How's everybody been keeping? 2 weeks have went by. Been busy here. January's been a kind of weird slow start, as you know from the last stream, but it's only kind of getting into it now that we're coming to the end of the month. February's coming and the nights are getting a little bit lighter. I wish the weather would get better. That's not happening. Dram in the glass. This is just my usual palate kick off. It's on the dram wheel, which we'll get to in a second once we do intros. Who else have we got in this evening? Seeing a lot of people. I can see Pete Head, Frank saying no haggis. No haggis here. James is in. James, great to have you in, mate. Hope you're doing well. And so I was saying I looked in the mirror earlier. I swear I looked like the haggis on the screen. I hope you're talking about the haggis in the thumbnail and no me. I was trying to find some like humorous haggis content. There's not really much humorous haggis content. There's cheesy haggis content. I was going to try and get something to like run across the screen, but usual ran out of time. Couldn't get it sorted. Tom, welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. Usual kickoff, guys. What's in the glasses? Let me know what you've got. I'm already seeing people fire into the chat that know the score. What have you got? Dutch Jurors on a Tullibardine 12-year-old cast strength. So is that the latest one? I feel like there's been so much going on that stuff's passed me by, and I know that they've brought this out. Is the general consensus it's good, Tullibardine? Because there can be good and there can be no so good. I've been intrigued to know. Thomas is on the Locklear Barley. Perfect, mate. You're on theme for this evening, which we're going to be talking about. Obviously, old Rabbi Burns Night is tomorrow, and I thought, looking at what everybody else is talking about, I thought it'd be fun to just have a wee bit of a deep dive into that. Why not? Play on the stereotype. Living in London and how different Burns Night is down here compared to when I used to live up in Glasgow and Edinburgh and stuff like that. So I thought it'd be a nice wee kind of kick off. Let's see. And I can see Surge on the sideline. I'm quite sickly at the moment, but I'm attempting to fix that with a drama to a Craig Ellicky exceptional cast 23. If that doesn't fix you, what chance have you got? As we got, I can see some of the Derek starting a Hazelburn 10 and a Hungarian Stout. I very nearly pulled a Hazelburn out. Derek, great minds, think alike. But no beer. I've had a dry Jan. I'm trying to stay off the beer. I think the last one I had would have been the 5th of Jan. So not too bad. It's not too bad. It's like 3 weeks. As if I want a medal for it. You know what it's like. Bring us on, Dal Ewan. Skinhead Stallion, brilliant. I love a Stallion. Circumstance, cast strength, lovely. Everybody, everybody knows. Everybody's on the good stuff. And I make Duff for Frank Peathead. Great. I am going to... We'll switch to the usual. We'll switch to the dram cam. Boom. Look at that. A lot Lear. Of course there's a lot Lear involved. Kind of has to be involved with the theme of the night. We've got the lot Lear on the go. It's unopened. I've had that bottle for a wee while. I've not opened it. So I think tonight might be the night to open it. I'm trying to think whether I'm probably going to kick off with that, to be fair. Or maybe I kick off with the other one. Selection tonight has been picked based on the theme, which is Burns Night. Robert Burns, wee bit of background on him. There was some nice wee interesting facts about him. And I thought I could maybe pull out some bits and pieces and try and mix it up. So there's nothing too... There's one or two bottles maybe that are a wee bit harder to come by, but most of it's kind of core range stuff that you should be able to pick up. This Donnock, I don't expect anybody to pick up unless maybe at auction or that, because there's no many bottles of it. There were 89 bottles of it. There's a reason I picked this, and there's also a reason I picked another bottle, which will become apparent as we talk about it. Kilkerran, 8. I was looking for the 12. Weirdly don't have a Kilkerran 12 at the moment, but I do love this, so any excuse for this. Wee Glenmore 14, which ties in with the Donnock. I do wonder if anybody will get the connection between these two. It's loose. It's a loose connection, but it is related to Robert Burns. I didn't think I had Talisker 10, genuinely, and there's a reason I've put the Talisker 10 on here. But I was pleasantly surprised that I do have it. I think it was a gift. I think someone gifted me it ages ago. Wild cards, 2 of them, the Hemispheres and the Yuichi behind it. Because I was trying to, I never got the last bit of info that I was looking for around Robert Burns. I was trying to find out stuff about like Far Flung, but basically Hemispheres has Kiwi, New Zealand whiskey in it, and Yuichi's for Japan, and they're pretty far away from Scotland. And considering Robert Burns worked in whiskey of a sort, just for a nice wee tie-in for his influence around the world. Now, I need to decide on a dram. What you saying? Should we go Talisker 10 or crack open the Lot Lear? I'll let you guys decide. Well, we go back to here, back to the chat. So, dram selection focused on some Burns stuff and some haggis. As I said, something that'll go well with haggis. There's a couple there. One of them's highly rated for haggis. I've included that if you can guess what that is. And then one that I figured, actually, I would quite enjoy that with haggis. I would enjoy it with anything. To be fair, going back up through the chat. You need to give me a second, guys. Apologies. I hate when there's dead air. Let's see. Lowlander's asking, will I be reciting some Burns poetry later this evening? Well, we'll see. We'll see how the drams go down. There's the if you know Glasgow or the west coast of Scotland, that I grew up in a little place called Brixton, Glasgow, east end of Glasgow, and weirdly the Brixton Burns Club, it's called. It's like the longest running, oldest Burns society in the world, and they did a collab with Aaron. I remember seeing it at auction years ago, but as a kid at school, my school's no longer open, it's called St James's Primary School, we used to have to do it, and I remember having to take part in the Brixton Burns Club Burns Night competition, and having to learn and recite a poem off by heart. I think it was like 8 or 9, and I think it was called like the Collier's Daughter or something like that. And my headmistress was the one that she was really old school, like the only word I could do is like proper Presbyterian-esque old school mistress. And she used to do a thing about to get that and to get that like up to the notes, as if you were getting poked in the bum with a needle, okay, like that as a kid. So no, sadly I don't remember that poem off by heart. I remember wee tiny bits of it. So we'll see how the drams go, Lowlander, and maybe I'll be bold enough to try and recite something. Peter Frank said, no Loch Lear on the shelf, otherwise it would be one of the drams for me. It's a no-brainer. We'll get into it. We'll talk about it for anybody that doesn't know about Loch Lear and the Burns connection. So some Donnock bottles go for over €300 the other day in auction. Yeah, they're in demand because they're so limited, and they've got a really core fan base, of course, up there in Donnock. Andy's on the Caddenheads 18 Craigellachie. Look, everyone in the Craigellachie tonight. Julian saying, looks like we have some similar likes. Drinks whiskey. Well, I think a lot of them are quite, good whiskey. You might not like it, but you know it's decent as well. Sutherland, a few miles apart. Springer G's getting the link. He's getting the link. Kilkenny in the Portwood too, yeah. And I do like, Bowman said, do like the KK8. Yeah, it's a belter, man. I did, and we'll do a wee whiskey news section, and we'll talk about that in a second. Dirty, great to join live for the first time. Welcome. More than welcome. Thanks for joining us. Let us know what's in your glass. We're doing the intro round. This is what normally happens on Saturday Night Drams Live. We go through and see what we've got in our glass. If you don't have anything, no worries. If it's a cup of tea, let us know. And then Lowlander loves the hemisphere. Aye, definitely. Did Pete sort you out? Remember you were meant to reach out? Pete Verwoven. I've not spoke to him in ages, to be honest. I need to catch up with him, hopefully at some point. James is saying go for the Loch Lear. Search is saying go for the Loch Lear. So I made a banging whiskey sauce with my ribeye recently. Signatory vintage Glenlivet. Lovely. Van Wees bottled a Lammerlaw New Zealand whiskey from the Willowbank Distillery, blend of 33 and 37, €165. Brilliant. And Rita's the Red Rose Part, please. I forgot. Alan remembers loving Burns Night at Primary. I don't know if it's still a big deal. It was growing up for me. You kind of loved and hated it at the same time. Sandy, welcome in, mate. I was at the new Talisker Viscous today, but never bought anything due to the prices. We'll come on to that in the news section when we're talking about the Klein Leash thing. It's a curse of visitor centres at the moment, isn't it? It's counterintuitive. I don't understand it. Our Big Ten's in the glass to start here. So I was saying every night's a Craigellachie night. First time live here too. Is it really? Did I think that? I thought you'd been in before, mate. Hello, David. JD, brilliant to have you in. I'll move these over here now. I think I'm near the bottom of the catching up. What was going to pour a lot later? Our barley. Marco's in as well. Guys, brilliant. I'm seeing some new names in. I'm seeing some people in for the first time on the live. Get yourself comfy. If you've watched the show before, you'll know how it goes. If you've listened to it and catch up or whatever, it's pretty easy going. Pretty conversational, really engaging with you guys. You guys help make the live stream what it is. I've got a rough path I try and follow. Most of the time I end up missing out quite a few bits that I try and get in, but tonight's theme is Burns Night, haggis, all that stuff. Do let us know in the chat like your views on haggis as well, because it's quite a diverse thing. Like for my mum, the first time my mum had haggis, I'm 99% sure the first time my mum had haggis was in Mr. Singh's Curry House in Glasgow, and it was haggis pakora. So it's not a given Scottish people eat it either. In terms of drams, we are going to crack open that. I'm going to open that Loch Lear first, but I'm maybe a tiny wee pour it out just to open the bottle up a wee bit, but I'll probably pour the Talisker first for myself. Get this opened. I've got another bottle over there of our barley that's opened, which I opened last year, I'm pretty sure, for Burns Night, and then I've not touched again. Loch Lear's quite diversive. Diversive. Is that the word? I don't know if I'm saying that right. And that some people love it, some people absolutely hate it, and some people just don't care. I think they kind of did themselves a bit of a disservice at the start. They came out with too much. There was too many releases and too much change. I actually quite like I thought the cast strength was alright. Out of them all, and I had a few mates that completely disagreed with me. And it was a very long-running joke to the point where I made some merch. If you go, I don't know if I still have them on the merch site, the mugs, 3,500 UK, 3,500 rest of the world. It was a running joke about Loch Leyard releases. How many will there be and what they're doing? So it was a very inside joke. I'm really struggling to open this. Right, there we go. Quite a disappointing open. You know, that cork seemed a wee bit crap as well. Anyway, we'll reach over, get the Talisker. Not had a Talisker 10 in ages. Rugged maritime, sweet smoke, peat pepper. So the reason for the Talisker is if you search online for what whiskey pairs best with haggis, everybody, there's a lot of names call it Talisker 10. Dave Broom, Charles McLean, usual suspects, and they all land on it because of the pepperiness, and I think it complements the pepperiness with the pepperiness of the haggis. So I figured, well, it's been a wee while, so why not give it a shot? And I forget, Talisker 10's 45.6%. For some reason I thought it was in the 40% club. You know, there's a lot of bashing goes on, but like it's a decent dram. More, I assume if you're watching this live stream on a Saturday Night Live, or if you're watching it in catch up, you're into your whiskey a bit. Most of us know what a Talisker 10's like, but when you forget and you kind of come back to it, it's not too bad. There's a fair bit going on in the glass. There's that pepperiness. There's almost like a boot polish sheen over it. It says maritime. I think it needs to be in the glass a wee well. When I think maritime now, I think more like coastal, almost Ardnamurchan-esque, or like a Glen Scotia brininess, like a sea saltiness. So I'm not getting that on that at all now. But haggis is highly recommended to be paired with Talisker 10, and I wonder if they've picked Talisker 10 purely on the basis that it's readily available everywhere. You'll see some people suggest Highland Park 12, but I don't have that, so I went for the Talisker 10 that I did find. If I never found that, I was going to just pull out a different Talisker, the Distiller's Edition that I got on offer last year. But it's nice. It's nice, and there's actually a Talisker 10, not a Talisker 10, the Talisker special release. I think it's 23 or 21 on Amazon at the moment, on offer. I think it's like 50 quid, and I know a few people that love it, really love that one. So if you're into your Talisker, that definitely have a look if you're in a place that you can do it. Let's see where we at. Going through the chat again. Just catching up. Tim loves haggis. Man, it's great, man. Frank loves it. Further down to Earthway with the neeps, tatties, and whiskey sauce. Exactly. I was meant to pick some up today, and I just ran out of time. I was out with my daughter, and we were doing bits and pieces, and I was like, right, I'll get some for tomorrow, because we always make it. My wife really enjoys it as well. And I find that even if you can't pick up the normal haggis, if there's veggie haggis from the same, it just, to me, it just tastes the same because of the spices. Haggis Pagoda are beautiful, yes, it's great. If you've never had it, if you go to Glasgow, so during Glasgow Whisky Festival, I know a lot of people go with raw aquavitae to the Indian after the festival. I took my mates to Mr. Singh's, and my mate Varesh, who is Indian, but he's from London. The biggest compliments he could give it was he was asking the waiters to ask the chef, like, how are they making the base kind of stock, sauce, gravy type stuff, because it reminded him of his grandma's stuff. it was brilliant. The food was great, and I got them the haggis pakora, and the boys love haggis as it is. Just 10 out of 10. Great meal. And I've actually got, they take a photo of you when you're having your meal, and you think, oh, it's going to go on social media or something, and then they come out and give you a framed picture of it. Mr. Things on it. It's great. So I've got the photos behind us on the shelf over there. Any excuse for bad haggis. So I was saying, I haven't met someone who disliked Locklear personally. Locklear cast strength. Yeah, I think it was just more of a. I think it's just one of the. It was just at that time, there was a certain period of time where it was quite easy to bash, because there was so much coming out, and they were, where are you going with it? Albert 10 and glass and a Michael Couvert, a weird but good Scottish French whiskey thing. As long as it's good. Locklear, once you're hooked. We've got a lot of Locklear fanboys in the night. A lot of Locklear fans. Tim saying, I think the bashings have been about the increase in price. Yeah, I do. I think that as well. I remember when the 18 happened, and it happened overnight, like from 75, 80 quid for the 18 to 170, and that's never dropped back down. Lagavulin at the same time went up in price, 25 quid, but you found that that's on offer quite a lot at 60, 65, back to where it was. Talisker, that 18's just stayed up there. So I was saying, I personally feel Talisker's been mostly dethroned by Ardnamurchan Murky when it comes to coastal malts. I've not bought a bottle of Talisker since the Distiller edition from 2016 yet. And also you've got... Talisker was Skye, wasn't it? But then you've got Torreveg. Torreveg's good. I'm really enjoying what's coming out of Torreveg. And they've kind of taken a wee bit of the shine away as well from Skye. Like, you're thinking Distillery in Skye used to be the only distillery, didn't it? And now they're there as well, marching to their own beat. And we'll want to see any things, it's getting better and better. Yeah, and it does. And they had the right people. John Campbell working with them and stuff. Like, there was a lot of good people involved in the setup, and really kind of like ramping it up. And we're finding it. We know with all these distilleries, they are getting better with time. Some ramping up really quick. Glasgow, prime example, where they just went. The quality is unbelievable. You're seeing it with, I think, Clydeside. Not the Napier for me. I can't, my palate and the Napier nap. But some of the stuff we had when I toured, when were we there? Maybe 2 years ago, a year ago. It was a bit more kind of new, not new make, but more potent cast strength stuff, and that was actually quite nice. I think we were too quick to jump on tons of these distilleries putting out stuff. If it wasn't great right away, we were like, oh, it won't be. Rob saying, aye, exactly. It's one of those drams that is a gateway dram because it's so readily available. And I'm looking through here, just seeing what everybody's saying. Frank's saying the same. Can't recall the last time I bought this. Well, as I said, this 10 was a gift. The last Talisker I bought was last year. I bought that Distiller's edition because it was on sale, and I thought that's an interesting one to go. And I made a video about it, and it was actually pleasantly surprising. But some other people I know hated it. Again, cracking Curry House. Muir, welcome in, mate. Even though first pours a Peach Thompson Brothers 8-year-old North Highland blend. Brilliant. Cannot beat it. Lovely stuff. And very in keeping with what some of the other drams we're going to go on about. From a Burns point of view, I'm not going to talk extensively about Robert Burns, as you know. But I've got some notes here about him. And like the main interesting one is he worked in whiskey because he was an exciseman, he was a taxman, taking tax from it. And he obviously lived where Locklear is now built, the farm. So he worked at Locklear Farm from the ages of 18 to 25. So it's very in keeping that, hence the Locklear Association, but only one whiskey's allowed to associate with Burns, and that's Arran. They've got the kind of naming rights. I don't know how they get that from a guy who's been dead for a long time, but they've got the naming rights around it. And there's also a lot of kind of parallels at the moment around Burns, and he hated the taxation on whiskey, hated the way it was done, and the duty that was introduced to it. And now you fast forward to now, and the duty on Scotch whiskey in the UK is just it's extraordinary how much they're taking. And I'm not going to go on a Ralphie style rant about taxation and stuff. It's just funny how the issues back then in his day, even though he was making his wage off it, were the same issues now. I'm going to move. I'm just going to put my phone here so I'm not constantly looking to the side. But he's so heavily involved with whiskey, and it was mentioned in so many poems and stuff like that. He genuinely enjoyed it. I'm just pulling up here. What's the one? So Burns raged against the 1784 Act that ended Ferintosh's whiskey tax-free status, and they lost their special license. And that Ferintosh is important to why these other whiskies are on the table. It's from the Black Isle, which is up Sutherland Way, isn't it? Unless I've got that completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure we passed Black Isle up that way, and that was his favourite, Ferintosh. So it cut him to the core when they lost that. And even though like his reputation that he was a heavy drinker, which is a negative, that was just a reputation. He worked quite a lot. He was quite a hard worker, and he died at 37. So people thought that was associated with drinking, and it wasn't. It wasn't at all. So there's some quick fire Burns facts. Get those out the road early doors for those tuning in to learn about Burns Night. If you're watching this and catch up, you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, you're more than welcome to stick around as we indulge in some quality whiskies, and the chat is always great fun in here. So there you go. Hopefully that might have perked you up a wee bit. That's why the Glenmoe, I've managed to smuggle the Glenmoe in, and the Thompson Brothers, the Donnock. I could have just picked any of the Thompson Brothers Independence, but I thought the Donnock Spirit, why not? My jam choice after getting envious of everyone else's. Going for my latest mystery malt, the Glenrothes 13. Glenrothes, brilliant distillery, fantastic. Alan saying the same about them getting a wee bit confused. Locklear getting a little bit confused with releases, but I actually think a lot of potential there, and I agree. I do agree. The Bowmore Lowlander, the Thompson Brothers Bowmore was on. I had the chance of picking it up, and I actually picked up you can't see it because for some reason the light's not turned on behind me. I picked up the Lafroig. I picked up the Thompson Brothers Independent Lafroig, like it's called the Lafroig. How rare is that to see? And it was 50 quid. 8 years old, 57.1%. I cracked it open last night and did a neck pour of it. I was tempted to have it on the lineup tonight, but I thought I'll just keep it later. Initial thoughts on that. Not as medicinal as a typical Lafroig, not as TCP. I actually wrote down notes to one of the lads in the Whiskey Exchange, because they said to me, ping me when you've opened it and let me know how it is. So I kind of live messaged them as I was trying it. And it was quite, I'm going to tell you exactly what I said to him, because it was a bit of a strange one. I said, on the nose, rich, quite rich, licorice, a lot of licorice, like the licorice pipes you get as a kid, the sweets licorice pipes with the aniseed balls at the end, the pink and the stuff that you have on the end. It's almost like the tobacco in the pipe. A bit of gooseberry, a wee bit of blackberry hints, but the licorice note kept just waving forward. Bear in mind, this is first pour, neck pour. On taste, bit of heft. Typical Lafroig notes are there, but not as TCPA that I find, which I'm surprised at for it being 8 years old. But it does drink its proof at 57.1. I found it not hot, but you know it's 57.1%. You know it's 100, like it's there. There's quite a heaviness to the profile, and that quickly overtakes the palate, and it kind of just dulls down a wee bit on the end, the finish. Then I wrote, it's an odd profile, but you can see a gardener enjoying a dram of it in a shed or at an allotment. It's quite old school. I found it quite an old school dram. So it was definitely an interesting pickup. I'm really glad I got it. And at that price, getting like independent Lafroig had to go. Thompson Brothers, you're going to trust them, aren't you? Sorry, that's complete tangent about the Bowmore to that. So I was saying that Torrevieja was a lovely distillery when you were there. Didn't even get close to and I said didn't even get close to Talisker when I was there. Yeah, I think a lot of people just don't really pay much attention like to Talisker at the moment. And as you said, when you're at Talisker and that pricing, when you're in there, it's no ideal. Let's see. Cujo's in. Welcome in. Hope you're keeping well, mate. Highland Hamish is in. Welcome in, mate. Finverness. Here's we got. I knew Hamish would have the facts here for this, for the Ferrintosh. It was around the Dingwall area. According to Charles McLean, it was the nearest to what is now Glenwivis. Right. Excellent. And then Sir Channel saying, sweating to see Mystery Malt Batch 5 appearing. Love Batch 3 and heard Batch 5 will arrive early Feb. There's still some batch really surprising that Batch 5 is hanging about. Like you can still go and pick it up, and the Thompson Brothers did a deal, an emailer and social deal for Blue Monday where they had a tenner off it. So I don't quite understand, because I think as a release, I think there's more interesting stuff in that release than any of them. So if you're on the fence about picking them up, or you see them online, guys, definitely pick them up. I think there's some good liquid in there. I think we got the Killila in ours. It's good Killila. Tim's off. Tim, all the best, mate. Enjoy and catch up, and have a nice rest of your weekend. And then Alan saying, we're thinking about going to Skye for Easter school holidays. Need to be good to my wife, so she will let me visit distilleries. Aye, there's only 2. I'm sure you could get a puncture outside one of them and say, I will need to wait here for a while. Batch 4, 13-year-old Taninic. It's a cracker. We'll have it. Taninic's great. What do people think of Taninic as a spirit? I know that they just brought out a special release. Diageo brought out the special release, which is a rye, so it had to come out as a grain. So there was a lot of good reviews on it. It's fine. The Talisker's good. Talisker 10 is fine. I can see why it would go, why people would recommend it with Haggis. I can see why it's doing what it's doing. I don't know if maybe I've kind of no poisoned the well as such, but I don't know if having that Quinta Rubin at the start, because at the back of my throat is quite clawing, that Talisker 10, which I didn't quite expect, if I'm honest. I'm being sensible as well. Instead of seeing off every dram when I'm kind of done, I've got a wee kind of spittoon of sorts that I am emptying into. New year, new me. Right. It's such a light colour, this, but it's first fill bourbon barrels, non-chill filtered, natural colour. We'll see how this goes. Light on the nose. Nice and kind of, well, it's lowland, isn't it? Has that natural grassiness to it. I'll let that sit in the glass a wee minute. Probably should have done a fresh glass, to be honest, but we're all friends here. Tom's saying, that's where I got my Glenrothes, it's unreal. Exactly, like the batch 5's great. Donna passes in, great to have you in, mate. Welcome in. it's a kind of no-brainer for me, and anybody that I've put onto it who's been on the fence and got a bottle, they've been happy with what they've picked up on it. I know there's been so many great releases, but I think with that batch, there's just so many like, look what you could win type bottles for the value. I'm just laughing. I'm just seeing Lowlander's comment, which I'll get to in a second. Amy's saying Thompson Brothers putting out a blend in March combo of Taninic and Peaty Dalmore. In YouTube video they call it whiskey made for minks by minks. Not sure I repeat that in the local area. Oh, that'll be good as well. Taninic is good. Petehead saying Taninic is good spirit indeed, as per usual. Depends what they do to it after distilling. Yeah, absolutely. Love it, David. Walked my way through a few bottles of Kiddenhead's 2024 release was exceptional. I had the Old Goonie 13-year-old Amontillado, both bottle killed and now the TVI. Brilliant, man, isn't it? So good. And this was the comment that made me chuckle, Lolander. Spittoon end a live stream mega blend. Aye, maybe that's what I'll do, Lolander. Maybe I'll just collect these after every stream, put them in an infinity bottle of sorts, and then try maybe. That's my bottle release of the year. You can have the Dregs a live stream mega blend. And then we've got Search Hunters on the Llama Law, 1988, 1992 dual cast. Well, I don't know much about that. And then Glenn, hi Glenn, oh no, an Infinity Spittoon. Could you imagine? JD, I'm in Atlantic City and I'm on the way to the bar. Brilliant. How's the weather? Is it mental? Are you getting hit with that big giant winter storm? Still have 3 closed bottles of mystery malt free. They could all be 33-year-old Isla. They really could. Exactly. They're the Schrodinger's bottle, aren't they? Until they're opened, they're everything. Cujo saying, I'm still crossing my fingers for the Dornock every time I got the Dornock. Cujo, I got a Dornock. Got the Dornock up there on the shelf. The mystery malt Dornock, which we were delighted with, because it was a bottle share. There was 4 of us put in, so we bought one of each. We've bought one of each of the mystery malt so far, just to save costs. Like, it works out for us like $17.50 each or something. Not even that, was it? £16 I can't even remember. But we've done alright at them, the ones that we had waiting. But I was a bit like Surge Hunter. I was hoping it was going to be something like really old, Ben Rinnes or something like that. Thanks extra. Glenn Togger's 10-year-old, brilliant. Love it. And Surge is saying he really wants a donut from the mystery malts too. Shoots to be silly secondary. I think that from what I remember, I'm sure they said somewhere, might have been an interview, might have been a podcast or something, but they were pulling back on the donut releases. They're building up the stock, because I think they really want to try and get more of it out there to people. It's just difficult because of the nature of the distillery and the quantities that they can make per each batch. So the single cast route was always the easiest way. It's such a strange spirit as well, because I feel like it's different. There's a coolness to it, like that mezcal-y funkiness to it that's in the distillate, but then there is depending on what you put it into, really guides it. And I don't know if it's because of the age of it and the maturity of it or whatever, but it does weird things in casks. But I think you can pick it out when they put Dornock in blends now. I feel like you can pick out the Dornock. It had that Ardnamurchan Dornock, call it the Ardnock or whatever they called it. It wasn't the Ardnock, was it? It was I can't remember what they called it, but you could pick out both in the blend, which I think is a compliment to the spirit. JD, that's in Atlantic City. The big one's heading up the eastern coast, but not here just yet. That's good, mate. We'll just bunker down at the bar and enjoy yourself. Whiskey news. I don't have a wee news segment today. I kind of ran out. So before we come on to that, I will do some housekeeping, which of course is massive shout out to the Patreon supporters. They are there forevermore. Support me. Good few of you guys in here are Patreon supporters. If you don't know what Patreon is, it is a platform where you support me. You fling me a few quid, and you help make really interesting content for me. You get access to many different things. You get videos before everyone else. You get secondary videos that no one else sees. There are some videos up there that maybe it's better that other people don't see them and they're behind a paywall. We do all manners of chat in there, and it's a really lovely wee community. There's no obligation, of course, to sign up for it. It is just, it's a great resource for me to tap into and talk to people. I know that recently I tried to talk about this in the other stream and I ran out of time, but there's been a lot of drama on Patreon with whiskey creators and stuff because of the size of them and what they've been doing. And I know that Aquavite Roy, he's moved away from the platform as such and stuff like that. Not quite, I don't think I'm quite there yet to move away from it like that. I find it really good for what I do. It works well for me. I'm not in a position to jump away from it. Fingers crossed it doesn't happen. But that leads nicely on to, if we talk about stuff that's been happening, whiskey news. So first up is the weird Meta Facebook, Instagram clamping down on whiskey content, alcohol content, whiskey creators, brands. I don't do much on Facebook, but Instagram was where Drinks Whiskey started, and I still use Instagram for like most of my kind of daily wee posts or some photos and stuff. I don't really use it for any short form content because I just don't have the time to make most short form content. I did a piece one the other day, and I just kind of think, why am I doing this? I don't enjoy it. But it's got my biggest reach, and I do enjoy using it for whiskey news and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a bit strange. They've just clamped down and said they're not promoting or pushing out posts to people about it. And you would have seen a lot of people comment it. It was in the Spirits Business website. There's not been an official explanation yet for it, and it is a little bit worrying with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, and just certain sections kind of clamping down on things, that if that's a legit thing they've done and it's not an AI mistake where they've clamped down on things, because there's nothing illegal happening. It's a hobby amongst adults, age-gated. Most people, 99% of these groups and chats and stuff online, they're not selling anything, they're not trying to gamble it, like there's nothing untoward happening. But it is a concern, because I thought about it from my side, and it was talking about that leading on from that Patreon chat as well. They clamped down there. 2 American companies clamping down on alcohol. An American president coming out and talking about prohibition and stuff. You just kind of have to look at it and think, oh, is this good? Because we rely so heavily on these platforms. Without Instagram and without YouTube, there's Drinks Whiskey isn't a thing, and it's really hard. It's part of why I made that. If I clicked at that, you can see the Drams on the Run zine. Part 2 is coming, I promise, to the Patreons. Part 2 is coming. But I made something physical, because I realised very quickly that this is just ones and zeros floating around the ether. So that's been happening. It is a worry amongst content creators. I hate that term, content creators, but I don't know what else to call people that do this. It's no influencers. I don't want to call it. I'm not an influencer. So it's on a lot of our minds of doing that, and the Patreon stuff, that's a good support for me, because it kind of keeps me motivated in doing it, because I feel like those guys have got my back, and I'm going to support them until anything bad kind of happens with Patreon. But I think maybe the worries of the examples that I saw of some of them getting shut down were around the barrel picks and stuff, and that's at a scale that I'm not at, and I'm not got barrels to punt or anything. So I do wonder if that's what was happening. But then you do worry, because it's such a quick process, and they just go, computer says no, and you're done. and I'm just seeing that I've seen Bowman Rob's asking if anybody should have any more channels like that. Not that I'm aware of. Right. The Whiskey Hunter, or Bourbon Hunter, sorry, the one that kind of was the first domino. I follow him on YouTube. I watch him on YouTube, and so I saw that in kind of real time as that was happening, and I was like, right. But then when he was talking about, it was the barrel picks, and I know Bruzel had similar things. There is an element there where, especially in the US, where the laws are so complex market to market around alcohol sales and stuff like that. I can see why they got a little bit skittish, but you would hope, oh well, we're different because we're in the UK, but they're an American company, and they would just go in hard. It's not worth the hassle for them, full stop. So it's a bit of a strange one. There's Alan. Alan loves his Ardnamurkin. Cujo saying that they're talking about Dominic, the large part is longer term aging. Let me see, I'm just coming on. Frank said not on Facebook. I rarely use Facebook either, to be honest. Insta, yeah, and my cross post on there, and I see occasionally people like it from Facebook, but there's not really a big look at all on it. Let's pretend that alcohol is more harmful to our youth than social media. No, it's a strange one. It is a strange one. And did I pick it up? No, I do. Can you tell? Because I'm seeing your expos. You like a Ben Rinnes. Love a Ben Rinnes. And if you've never seen this t-shirt before, I'm going to try and pull it up. There you go. Let me hide this. Ben Rinnes Distillery. So good, they named a mountain after it. Available. Link in bio. You can pick these up. I've had some issues with the back end of it, and I'm trying to sort it. It's been just timing nightmare. But they should all be working now. If you look on the YouTube thing underneath, that's a nightmare. I don't know why it's pulling in mad sizing, and when people have ordered from there, it's came in, and the way the process works, and I'll click and confirm, and then it gets sent out. They end up in extra small and all this, and it's just a nightmare. But yes, I do love a Ben Rinnes, and I didn't pick it up. I saw the latest releases. There was a Springbank. Did anybody get the Loch Lomond? We were talking about that the other week. Would love to know if anybody's tried them. One positive thing, this might mean the end of whiskey influencers on Instagram. You would think, absolutely no chance. They're going nowhere. And I say, you have to just take a deep breath and just either unfollow, which I've done with a few people, and I'm just like, oh, no into this, or look, each to their own. There's a lot of shenanigans when it comes to Instagram. It's better just I just use it. I like it for my photography and taking nice pictures and putting stuff up, but that's dying. Literally, the head of Instagram said that it's not a photo platform anymore, and I'm kind of like, well, what am I supposed to do? But there are people I talk to on that I don't talk to on that aren't YouTube, and vice versa. So it's kind of it's both ends. Alan saying he's virgin on social media illiterate. So never come across these Instagram influencers. Nah. Better just avoiding most of them. Although I did, to be fair, the Whiskey Amateur, JJ, out of nowhere last weekend, I was putting a wee one to bed, and I just get like pinged, or do you want to collab on a post on Instagram? And I'm like, oh well. And he voted me as Content Creator of the Year in his own, the Whiskey Amateur Awards, the WAS, that have been voted for by him and him alone. And it was really nice. It was a really nice validation from somebody else who gets how time consuming and how much effort goes into these things. So that was lovely. I did enjoy that. Big shout out. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate it. Wasn't expecting it at all. I just kind of had my own wee corner of Whiskey Tube. I just kind of keep doing my own wee thing. So it was really nice that he understood it. And I've got something tonight, specifically, that he called out in the video that I've not done for ages, and I thought, we'll bring it back. We will bring it back. And I'll bring it back after we chat a wee bit more about the news, and we choose the next dram. So moving on, already spoke about this evening by a few years in the chat, the news that Diageo are closing the Clynelish Visitor Centre, or it's in consultation to close, which basically means it will close. They spent a lot of money on that place for the was it the four corners, the four pillars of Johnny Walker. Never made it there myself. Wish I had. If they put an end date, if they put an actual closing date in, and there's an opportunity, I will go. Because the opportunity to go to Clynelish, stellar spirit, stellar dram. Like, you're hard pushed to find people that don't like Clynelish. You can even get peated Clynelish. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's rare, but you can get it. There's something for everybody, and it's such a great spirit. And it's sad, but it's a sign of the times. There was an article as well that's concurrent with this news, which basically states that the big kind of four. So you had Pernod Ricard, you had Diageo, Brown Forman, and I want to say Beam Suntory. I think I just call Suntory now. Are sitting on more whiskey stock, than they have ever sat on. And it was in the FT, in the graphs. There was a slow, steady, let me see if I can get this, I'll go this way. There was a slow, steady incline, and then it hits 2020, and it literally goes like that. And they filled their boots when the sun was shining, and so they thought they'd make hay. But the problem was they never thought it would stop. They never thought the rain would come. And they're all sitting on the most ridiculous vast quantities of whiskey. And the demand just isn't there. At all, and they're not helping themselves, and cost of living's done it and whatever, but the way the economy is, and with trade wars and taxation and tariffs and everything, everything's a consequence and a knock-on effect. And I'm seeing other distilleries offering like free tours now, don't pay and come and visit and whatever. It's the winter, so it's always a hard time. When we were up in the Highlander Inn last summer, staying, and went into the Glenallachie distillery, and we were chatting away, and everybody you spoke to, they all said the same thing in that area, and they were like, oh, the Highlander Inn November to Feb deal, where you get a 50 quid per night bar tab and stuff, and they love it because it brings people to the Highlander Inn, so they get the business. The bar tab's used on the whiskey, they get the food, the drink, whatever, but people go to the distilleries as well up there, so they get a bit of trade through that. Really tough if you're Clynelish. Like, who's venturing up there right now? And so you've got you're kind of reliant on summer, but to just shut it, to just close it down, maybe there's an opportunity to go seasonal, maybe something like that. It's just one of those. It's quite a sad indictment of where we're at. You just hope that the people have the right people and the right distilleries and have squirreled away enough to see them through the downturn, because hopefully it'll come down, but then it'll plateau where it should be at its natural level. So that was another piece of news. Well, two pieces of news with the stocks and that. Regarding the new Cadhead releases, the Springbank and the Manic Motor, the two great release, but I've talked with multiple folks that highlight those two. Yeah. Let me see. Kind of shot by the chat. You wore it at Glasgow Whisky Festival. I wore the Glengarry t-shirt to Glasgow Whisky Festival. Which was the Glengarry. Nae Geary gives me the Fairy t-shirt, which is also available in the link in bio below. Been a couple of IB Ben Rinnes that yeah, it's great, mate. Ben Rinnes is great. I love Ben Rinnes. Love it. Love it one time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate it. Try my best. And let's see, being at Clynelish Visitor Centre and the Cardoon Keilila, still not a fan of Disneyland. Nah, that's it. It's a bit it's a wee bit of that. And Cujo's saying the same. If Clingley's brought the prices down a bit, I think they do quite well. They're trying for a typical Diageo premium marketing experience at the distillery, which sells to a certain audience. Absolutely. It's tough because they are part of a massive corporation that's trying to do a lot of things. It was really encouraging that they invested at the start in these distilleries, and giving them a visitor experience and really pushing it. But it's a sign of the times, and this stuff happens. Hamish is saying it in the chat as well. Yeah, it's just business is business, unfortunately, and that's what ends up happening. That little ear's opened up lovely in the glass. I'm a big Fussville bourbon fan anyway, so you're going to get that. Cujo, I think, you know what, you might start to see stuff like that as people realise, and they sit in the stock, and the stock's just sat there, and it's dead money. And if are you weakening it? But then in Scotland, you've got the issue in Scotland with taxation and alcohol and stuff like that. But the amount of people that have waxed on about that, like waxed lyrically about this, Roy especially is highlighted it so many times on the VPub, that why when people make the effort to come to your home, your distillery, do you feel the need to rip them off? Why do you feel the need to charge them a premium on top of the time it's taken, the journey and the adventure? They want to leave with a memento. They want to leave with something that's really precious to them, that they have a story about. And you don't want them leaving having bought it begrudgingly because of that. Glengoyne, case in point, they do it all the time. I met John Paul, my friend that I went to America with. He's in the Kentucky videos. Good mate of mine. He sent me a picture last night. He was at a Burns supper last night, and he sent me a video of the drams they had. And he's not a big whiskey guy by any means. And he was just saying this is what we've got. They had some Jura. They had Tamnavulin. These are all original bottlings. Tamnavulin. They had a Lafroig, and they had a Glengoyne teapot dram. Don't know who brought that, and I was like, mate, have the Tamnavulin, then that teapot dram all day, every day, and then if you want something smoky like that, do the Lafroig. And he came out and went, that teapot dram was banging, blah blah blah. I'd love to buy the teapot dram as a bottle. I'm not buying that. I don't have the money for that. As a drinker. And it's frustrating, and there's other distilleries out there that have went this route, and they've went the premiumisation route, and there's so much good whiskey out there that we can buy. Like the selection I've got tonight, I am more than happy drinking these. Are they the most spectacular bottles you're ever going to have in your life? No, they're not, but they're fine to drink. And they're not going to break the bank. And it's us that are buying the bottles. And if you're buying one bottle a year of something, for a business to do well, they can double their sales. All they need to do is make you buy 2 bottles a year. So all they need to do is change you from buying 1 bottle to 2 bottles, and that core audience then doubles their sales. It's no rocket science. It's no rocket science at all. Hamish is saying, I can never work out how Open 14 is about 20 quid more than the Klein. Exactly. There's no rhyme or reason at time. JD, I finally got my Fury tea. Took a few weeks. This was my back end, unfortunately, and I've been looking at other stuff. I really like the company that I use. They're a UK company and whatever, but there's issues with the way they were getting stuff out, and time of year I think impacted because it was Christmas. So I do apologise, but I'm delighted you got it. I'm so happy it made it. And I tried to go for it. Hopefully the kind of material is a little bit better than just a traditional t-shirt, if that makes sense. Made a kind of conscious choice, but that meant that's the only reason the pricing is the way it is. Everything's just costs mental. So storming through the drams tonight. Third dram is Glasgow 1770 Laura, so heavily peated single cask. Banging. That Glasgow heavily peated, you've got me there. And the single cask, they're great. They're really good. I've got Vin No Nonsense whiskies. Glasgow collab bottle he did, and it's in a PX cask, and it's young, but it's great. It's really good. I really enjoy it. It's kind of eked out. It's at the back of one of those shelves because I'm trying to eke it out. Visited the JW Vaults tour last year. Good, but the rooftop bar blew my mind. The old 18-year-old cast strength Dusttown was one of my drams of the year. And then, was that a plane flying over the Black Lodge? I don't think it was a plane. I think it was the rain, to be honest. There seems to be like rain hitting off the roof. It might have been a plane. I can check. I don't think it'd be quite late for something to be flying above. Let's see. Nah, don't think so. I think it was the rain. I keep hearing it just kind of hit the roof quite hard. Right, on to what I was saying about the Whiskey Amateur and the award and stuff. And one of the things he mentioned was he appreciated the amount of stupid stuff that I do on these live streams and in my videos, and the amount of time and effort I do when I could very easily just set up like this, go live and do it. But I do like to mix it up a bit. So I've brought back the horses. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, I saw this online, these horses, and it's a wee kind of racing game. And what I did was I kind of assigned drams to them, but I'm not gonna assign 6 drams to 6 horses. I don't have the time nor the patience for it. So I'm going to assign 2 drams to the horses. The 2 drams. So we're going to do odds and evens: 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. And the 2 drams we're going to go for is we're going to go for the This is a win-win for me. We're going to go for either the Dornoch, which will be the odd, or the Kilkerran 8 is the next pour for this evening. So please, like, oh, I can see Lowlander straight in. Finally, the horses are back. Yes, exactly. We're gonna get in here. We're gonna get the horses are back. I'm really intrigued to see how loud this is going to be, because it's quite a noisy wee machine. Let me see if I can make this a wee bit more. There we go. And you can see at the end, I need to just give me a second. I'm just going to put the bits down. Fair race and all. Right, you probably hear that. It's quite loud. They're all ready to go. So please, odd or even, place your bets. I'm seeing 4, odd or even. That's all you need to do. You can go, if you want to go like Alan. Alan's went straight for the 4. So once more I'm going to write in the comment, I'm going to say odd equal. See, and if you're watching this as a pod, like listening to this as a podcast, not watching, what you're hearing is a little plastic machine with 6 horses itching at the bit to go. Right, under starter's order, and they're away. So we've got, you can see 6 is well in the lead at the moment. It's looking good. Evens are looking good here, but up, 3's coming up. 3's getting close to it, but 6, oh, 3, almost a wee jump. It's 3 Let's keep. Oh, they fell. They fell. Look at that drama. And the winner's 2. Oh, we never saw that coming. Oh, that's. Can you write that? And the others are really struggling up. There's 4 in. So it was 2, 5, 4. Let me see, can I help? One's no making it. One was traumatised by the 2 falls. And there we have it. There we have it. The winner was 2 equals even. Unbelievable scenes. Unbelievable scenes at the Black Lodge Downs. And I'm just seeing, oh, that's made my night. That was really funny. Cujo had it. Derek got it. Mike B got it. Richard, unfortunately, Alan's calling for a steward inquiry. You watched it live. There was no influence. There was no influence. Unbelievable. There we go. My horse fell rerun. You can't make the horse's glue now. What drama. See what you did there. Cujo, winner, chicken dinner. Look, I want to say we're all winners here, but Cujo, you're the winner, and I'm the winner, because thankfully, thanks to that, I now get to pour myself. I don't have the autofocus on the now, so I can't really do my usual up to camera. But Bourbon Cask, this one is from, when was this? November 24 release. It is delicious. And this actually leads on lovely to the next thing around Haggis and Pairing and the whiskey I would pair with it. And actually, as we said, the Kilkerran 12, but this a little bit lighter, less peaty. But okay, a higher proof, 55.6, but you can bring it down a wee bit. Or you can have it at this proof, try it. How's it go with the haggis? Wee bit of water to it, brings it a wee bit more of the woody influence. It's such a step change. Not quality or anything like that, but to go from Lochlear, 48%, relatively young whiskey, to this meaty, castrate, like it's got everything going on. Okay, it's only 8 years old, but brilliant. Why did you wait so long to bring back the top quality entertainment back to the live stream? Like, I've been wanting to bring it back for ages, and I'd positioned it in a shelf up there, and it was just out of sight, out of mind. And then it was when he mentioned it, is like, if you're on Instagram, go and check him out, Whisky Amateur, if you're not already following him. And you'll see what he says about it, but he does mention the horse racing and stuff. But I originally made an intro for it, but what the intro was doing for the live stream, it was copyrighting me because of music in it. So I was like, right, I'll redo that. No got around to redoing it. And by not redoing it, I just never did it and all that. Derek saying, former gambler, I've had horses fall on the flat before. I'm having flashbacks. I know. Can't believe those 2 fell. I did a test run before I started the stream to make sure that they would all go and they wouldn't fall or anything like that, and it was fine. So you saw it here, live as it happened. And you don't get this sort of entertainment prime time. Exactly, you don't. It's one of the many reasons. The plan is, this year, really to tighten up the stream a wee bit and get some good fun and some like wee differentials in, and have more, if I can get the time, prep more and have more segments in it and try and make it a wee bit. Taking inspiration from the old school, from like TFI Friday. Remember TFI Friday and stuff like that? Just like wee entertainment bits that give me a wee break as well. I really enjoy when I do the news segments and I can, like, I pre-record them and I can cut, because I can take a wee breather for 5 minutes and then get back into it. Also want to have some guests involved. Want to try and get some of you guys involved as well. Maybe kind of call in, phone in vibes, stuff like that. So there's loads of things moving. If you've not seen, I did put up the latest and greatest first instalment of For Me or No For Me, Yamazaki 12. That went up today. Patreon's had that beforehand, and then there's another one to come. Really surprised me filming that one. Really surprised me. It was not what I was expecting at all, to the point where I questioned myself, but I filmed one right after it. And my palate seemed to be alright, so it wasn't even a palate. So really, if you've not watched it, please go watch it. Leave a comment, let me know your thoughts on it. If you've tried, if you've not tried, it just helps the channel. Also, housekeeping, as usual. Guys, if you can hit like, thumbs up, whatever, for you guys watching live, it helps spread this out a wee bit. So I'll just say that horse race, it's the most exciting thing I've seen all week. Definitely keep that in the streams from now on. Exactly. I need to just find, I used to have it, if you go back to some of the earlier streams, and I had them in it, I had an odds chart and everything, like, built in. So I do it, as long as, if you guys enjoy it, I'll keep it in. It makes me chuckle. Brilliant. On at the Taninic as well. Fantastic. Donna Pass saying, recently bought another Kilkerran 12. Thought I liked Springbank 10 more, but the last KK12 bottle disappeared so fast I have to reconsider. The new 12 is very pale in colour, so looking forward. Yeah, I need to pick one up. I thought I had a 12. I did, and I went to get it. Because that was going to be my haggis choice. Because I was like, oh, the bourbon cask, it's hard to come by. Fine. But the 12, most places you can pick up a 12 pretty easy now. But I didn't have one, so I do need to get one. Next dram tonight is Glengarry 10, Little Brown Dog for Falkirk Whisky Club first. Oh, wait, it takes everything for me not to have Ben Rinnis and Glengarry on that wheel every time I do these. Can't go wrong with Garry, man. It's so good. It's just a quality distillery. Giving your age away with TFI Friday. No, mate, I'm giving my age away with freaking this. I think that's more of a giveaway than TFI Friday. And the Greys. Mental. So saying, I'm just at how underwhelmed you were at Yamazaki 12. I've never tried it, but definitely didn't make me want to try it out. Yeah, well, it's weird because I was speaking to a couple of boys yesterday and I said, oh, the new video's coming out. It's Yamazaki 12. And I'm like, oh, it's good. And I was like, I know it should have been. It should have been. I just didn't like it. I just did not enjoy it. I liked the nose. And on the first sip, I was like, all right. But then pardon me, and a couple more. It just... As Alex, don't want to spoil the video, but it just tasted industrial. It just felt like mass produced. It had this weird, diesely, mechanical petrol, like just weird undercurrent to it that I was not expecting. To the point where I was having it with a beer, and I thought the beer, like, I'm tasting the beer, I can taste the beer tastes how the beer should taste, right? My palate should be alright, have that, fine. And that's why I went straight into doing another one, because I was like, I need to try a different whiskey, and I only had miniatures with me. I thought, I'll try another whiskey, and I'll see if the palate, my palate's just no plain ball, and it was just, no, it was, the other one tasted how it should taste. So it was a bit of a strange one for me, and it's tough, at that price, I'm at high expectations. It's part of the reason I put the Yoichi on this board as well tonight, because it's a good whiskey. I really enjoy it compared to Yamazaki, whereas I used to love Yamazaki. Yamazaki was fruity and everything. But the 12, everybody's like, yeah, you should be getting this and that and that. So I don't know if I just got a dud sample. It was an official bottling. It was brand new. It was Mac, Campai Planet, brought it for me when he came and filmed here. So I'd saved it and saved it and saved it, and I was expecting that I was going to love it. Whatever, and but that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Well, Rob, you can see you went Saturday night. You went to a Burns night special race and watched TFI for the bands mainly. Yeah, I was young when it was on, but it was a Friday night. Went at 6 p.m. That was a big thing. Side note, friend gave me a sample of the Society Long Road 26 recently, and wow, what a disappointment it was. Sulphur bomb. Yeah, they're not immune to it. There's a Kilkerran 16 that came out. It was sulphur bomb. There was a Kilkerran cast strength sulphur bomb Springbank. There's been a couple as well that people just don't get on with. But the Society release, man, they should be a bit better than that. Michael, I saw this. I've came back up the chat to see this. Hey, I'm from New York City and I'm on town in Orkney, about a mile or so away from Highland Park Distillery in a town called Sear. I want to get up there and see my town. You got any ideas to Orkney? I don't. I've never been to Orkney. I'm going to presume you can get to Orkney from Aberdeen, guys. There'll be people in here, Michael, that will 100% know the ins and outs of getting to Orkney. I've never been. Let's see, come back down. Back to the chat. Spoiler alert, yeah. If you've not watched it, basically, it's not long. It's 6 minutes long. Filmed it with like Dunoon. I filmed it in Dunoon. I'm wrapped up. It was like -1 as I'm filming it outside. You can see my breath at times. I'm wearing about 8 layers, but I tried to make a drams in the run in Dunoon and very quickly found out there's just nothing. There's nothing really in Dunoon. So I could even pop into places to try and look at bottles or in bars and stuff. So I had all this beautiful footage that was like kind of B-roll, and I thought I'll just use it I'll use it in the for me or no for me. And I'd brought like 5-6 different whiskies, and cause we were with, it was me and my brother and my sister-in-law and my wife and my wee one and my niece. My niece is like 1, my daughter's 2. There was just no time to do anything at all. Just checked Amazon horse racing available. But the game is great. Like I picked it up. It's cheap tat. It's like it cost me like 15 quid, that horse racing, but it's absolutely worth it just for the banter of it all. Because you said, I said it in the comments, but if you do drinks whiskey, there's great Japanese whiskey out there, but I have never enjoyed Yamazaki 12. And then Donna Pass is saying, yeah, Hakushu, yeah, and that's Mac's favourite. That's the one that get him in the door. And I say in the video, like there's other Japanese whiskey out there that would absolutely UHE, the standard one. And that I think Japanese whiskey, the price is the problem, and the problem is, yeah, you can go to Japan, it's the yen and blah blah blah. Can't get that whiskey. A lot of the whiskey you can't get over there that you get here. It's a bit like bourbon in the States where you can get loads of stuff over here really easily, but you can't get it over there. So it's a bit of a strange one. Yeah, Hamish, Orkney can fly from Inverness in less than an hour. Price rate of Ferro from Turso. Great. Hopefully Michael sees that. Frank's saying, yeah, I still have to head to Orkney, bucket list destination. There's so many of those places. There's a couple that I'm keeping some time in my back pocket. I was meant to be up, and I really hoped to get up to Glasgow this weekend for Burns Night, and I kind of broached it last year about timings and stuff. There's too much going on. I was going to go up for Burns Night and go to Artisan tomorrow with like some of the folk from my whiskey group and they're all up there just now, and they were at the National Whiskey Festival in Glasgow today, and they're all having a great time, and obviously you're jealous. And then tonight I had the chance as well to go to a BTAC tasting at the Buffalo Trace store, and I couldn't, not for the stream. I think I would have made it back for the stream, just with the family, and you've got to kind of duck in and duck out. But Orkney would be amazing. I would love to go there. But my daughter, bear in mind she's 2.5. We always say, like, what did you dream about last night? She always says, grandparents and stuff. But yesterday I woke up and she said unprompted, she went, I dreamed about Scotland. Because when we took her up, and about playing the games. Because where we were, there was games in Dunoon. And I was like, there we go. There's the excuse to go back up the road. We'll get back up at some point. I think I would pronounce this Hakushu, but I know for a fact that's probably not how you pronounce it, and I expect Mac to pop up at any moment, Campai Planet, and correct me in the chat. Rob saying all of Scotland's on my bucket list. Get it booked. Just get it booked. Suggested Gills Bay ferry to Orkney. It's a great drive up on a well-sheltered ferry, less bumpy or weather-prone than the other two options. Michael, yeah, I was thinking of leaving from New York City, flying into Iceland, then Iceland into Kirkwall Airport, which is in Orkney, in the major town. Like, if you can do that, you can fly New York to Glasgow. I know there's flights from there, and I wonder if is there an option from, Glasgow to Orkney with Loganair? Shall we have a wee look? Let me have a wee look. Let's see. Never know. Even just from my own curiosity, have a wee look. Glasgow. I'm not going to share my screen because nobody needs to be seeing this. Orkney, Kirkwall. I think you can. Let's pick summer. Wednesday to Saturday. See if that works. Aye, it's expensive. Christ. 350 quid. That's the price of a flight for New York, to be honest. That's insane. Is that how much it always costs? Is that like the typical price? Let's use AI. Let's see. Typical average price Glasgow to Kirkwall flight in Orkney. Surely no. Surely it's no 350 quid to fly there. It is. That's mental. Wow. Did not know that. Crazy. Oh, there you go. That's why I've not been. He's saying there's 2 ferry options, one in Tussle and another about 50 miles away. When, not if you make it. I'll get you taxi at least as far as the ferry to Orkney. Perfect. Telling you, Whisky people are good people. We all know that, but it's great to see it. Join the stream, David. Just poured an Old Creek single barrel, 120 proof. I picked up in Cape Cod. That's brilliant. Fantastic. I got a bottle brought. I managed to get a bottle brought back for me from. Yeah, let's start that again. I got a bottle of bourbon brought back from Charleston, North Carolina, from a famous liquor store there. So a couple of people I know were there for work, and they said, "Oh, is there anything you want brought back?" And I said, "Can you do me a favour? Can you pop in?" Like my normal go-to ask would be like a 1920 Old Forester, but I was like, "Can you pop in? Is it near your hotel?" And then I googled it, and it's like a 15-minute walk. And they said, "Well, weirdly, we're at this bar playing pool. We're going to be walking by it on the way back in the next hour." I was like, "Amazing! Pop in, send me some pictures of their store pics." Like, what do you mean? I said, "Just ask the people when you go in, where's your store pics? Let me know." They went in, had a look, and they had an Elijah Craig store pic, cast strength, like barrel proof. And I took up to Glasgow Whisky Festival for anybody that was at the Aquaviti Blind Taste Challenge. I took a few bottles into that. To Springbank 18, I took I think I took a Dornoch. Did I take a Dornoch? And I took my Elijah Craig bottle, barrel pick from Glasgow, Kentucky, Fire Pit Spirits. and I managed to have some of it. I had a taste of it. We opened it before I brought them, tried it, and then I had another taste of it while I was there. Loved it, but then we had to go for a flight, and it was like, oh god, that was unbelievable, that bottle. So I'm hopeful that the new one is just as good, and it's right there. There you go. You can kind of see it in the cabinet. That's the Elijah Craig bottle there. They're always great. It's just nice to have the cask strength single barrel stuff when you buy it from somewhere. So this is the travel section of the live stream. Yes, mate. This is the Robert Burns travel section. I've got more Robert Burns facts if everybody's inclined for it. Let me see. We've already spoke to Loved Whiskey. We've already said Arran are the only distillery that did it. There is... We've talked about the Haggis Pairing. It's funny, because down here, I think something to talk about is I never found that Burns Night was a big deal. Like, actual Burns Night, like food and stuff, when I lived in Glasgow. It just never seemed to be a big deal. I don't know if it was because I lived in the East End. I don't know if more in other parts of the city it was a big deal, but it was never a thing. It was never a big thing, and it wasn't. And even when I went abroad and stuff, I lived in Korea and I lived in America, it never really landed. And then I moved to London, and it hit me right in the face. It was everywhere. Burns Night, huge, big deal, huge deal. To the point where I remember my first flatmates when I lived in London asked me to come to a Burns Night with them so I could do the address to a haggis and all that. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I was the only Scottish person there. I'm like, this is so strange. I'm like, my first ever Burns Night, a Burns supper, was just bizarre. So there's lots of stuff goes on here. So where you are, is that a thing? It's celebrated, by all accounts, it's celebrated all over the world now, Burns Night. But I'm just intrigued to know, is it something that you actively indulge in? Do you just pour yourself a wee dram on Burns Night, or do you have the haggis and the full kind of whack, or do you go out for it? There's a great event happening tomorrow that I'm going to... Probably should have ran it by the boss before saying this out loud, but it's happening tomorrow night, and I've looked at train times and that, and I could probably make it for an hour or a bit, and I would love to go just with my camera, film a wee bit. But you've got Frank Murphy from the Pot Still. You have, his name escapes me right now, from the Gate. You've also got Old Hag, which is a Scottish deli. He was on bloody Saturday Kitchen today. Well, I've spoke to him on Instagram DMs ages ago when he put his recipe up for square sausage and that. But they're doing a thing at the Seed Library in Shoreditch, which is a great cocktail bar, but they have a great whiskey selection. They're the same people that run Linus at Sea Containers in London. That they've got of content. They've got a TV. I want to say a TV program. I don't know if it's a TV program or just an internet series where they go to these places and that as well. But they're doing a Burns Night special in there. And I'm really tempted to just get in and get out. I could probably round trip doing commute about an hour and 10, 45 minutes each way maybe. That's an hour and a half into it. And then do an hour there. But there's loads of events happening in London during Burns Night. It's just really funny. So I'd love to know, is that a thing for you guys? I was reading a National Geographic book with my son. There are fossil dinosaur footprints in the sky, hence why we're going to Easter. Brilliant. Love that stuff, man. But also, have you seen Prometheus? The start of that's all filmed in Skye. It's a mad place. I've never been to Skye. Never been in Skye. Would love to go. And then Highland Hamish saying, please let me know if anyone does make it talk to me. I've got 2 ex-colleagues up there. One is a tour guide at Scapa. There's a huge whiskey stash, which she's very generous with. Fantastic. And Glenn. Yeah, Glenn, you went, didn't you? You went, because we never get a chance to chat at the Glasgow Whisky Festival. You went up. Hassle-free. Yeah, you're paying. It's convenience, isn't it? That's why they do it, because they know that if you don't want to be done with the boats and the water, and the chaos. You just fling the money at the problem. I'm with you on that. I want to get slammed during the summer with the cruise ships. Highly suggest this shoulder season when things are still open but won't be overrun. Robert Rappy. I know. Hey brothers, thanks for all the advice. I got a situation here in America. We got an orange mango mousse messiah. If I leave the country, I might not go back in. You know, I got ice agents. I know. More power to you guys out there. Now I barely know what Burns Night is. I know of Robert Burns, but that's about it. It's basically just a night that commemorates Robert Burns and the poetry, and he did the dress to the haggis and stuff, and it became a thing. It's actually more, I would say it's probably more celebrated, I would find, like Burns Night than St Andrew's Day, like our National Day. It's a bit weird. It's weird. It's a weird one. I don't know if that's because the Irish just made St Patrick's Day so big. They were like, oh, we can't be bothered with that. But we have a thing in January, which is a great excuse just to drink more whiskey after New Year. Right, so more or less needless to say, Burns absolutely not a thing around here. I think find someone to Clonus who knows about Burns Night. Yeah. In the Netherlands, I can't imagine it would be a big thing, but always good just to ask. And look, here's Jesper's just in, even though just in from a Burns Cayley, Lefroy 10 and a hip flask. Jesper, where are you? Where are you? We were literally just talking about this. Love to know where your Cayley was. What part of the world? It's such a, that, honestly. In case you're just joined, on the Kilkerran 8 bourbon cask. I love it. It's so good. It's so good. Such a good dram. Let me go back to the dram selection for this evening. Put some back. Shall we have another race for the next dram? I think we might have to. Steward's inquiry after that. I'll bring the set over, but what I'm going to do is we'll mix up the colours, because it could have been that maybe they fell because, I don't know, they're magnets. I don't know. I don't actually understand why they would have fallen. But I'm doing this in front of you so that you can see. There we go. Maybe we'll do another one. Not right now, but before the end of the night we'll have another race. See how everybody enjoyed it. Billy's in as well, even though just back from Whisky Festival in Bergen and some beers at the pub afterwards. How's the weather up in Bergen? Billy, how you getting on? Donna Pass is saying, her name escapes me, but there's a lady who lives in Orkney with a whiskey tube channel. It was dormant, but she started up again in 2025. Anyone watch her? Nah, no idea. Something I want to do this year. I want to kind of like do more with Whiskey Tube, and get involved more with people and try and do some collabs and promote stuff and whatever, because I think I know there's been people that have just pulled back and are questioning why they're doing it, and it's something that comes up all the time, and I don't want to get all heavy on that and stuff, but like Vin, no nonsense, he paused for a while doing YouTube and started just doing like some Instagram and YouTube short stuff, and it looks like that's I think that's him. I think he's not going to do YouTube videos anymore. He just made the decision, and there's some other people that are kind of looking at it, and it's a tough one. It is tough if the motivation's not there to do it. So when people take hiatuses and then come back, you see it. But I think YouTube doesn't make it easy to find small channel content, and I know that because I'm a small channel. like in a niche upon a niche. But it'd be great to just kind of like do some collabs with people. I really enjoyed doing this stuff with Mac, and even like with whiskey ambassadors and that, like the stuff. Always have a great time with Marcos, as I'm sure you've seen. Bishop Briggs, fundraiser for my boys rugby club. Brilliant. Well, I hope you've filled the coffers well this evening. Rosemary Moon is her channel name. Right, I need to have a wee look at that. And then I think the horses that fell over had Saturday Night Drams. I think that was it. Billy saying yes, we had a great time. The weather's nice but cold. Brilliant. So anybody that's joined recently, if you've joined in the last maybe 30 minutes, you might have missed the Black Lodge Downs, I'm calling it, after Churchill Downs horse racing that happened, where I say we, you see here, let's get this so you can see it properly. We have 6 horses. We're going to do odds and even again. Shout out a number, odd or even. If you want to go right in, you can shout a number, odd or even. We're going to do Woven is the odd, and the Thompson Brothers Dornoch is even for the next dram. I'll give you a minute or so to decide. You might choose it on colour. You might choose this. Imagine if I get shut down. Imagine if my YouTube channel gets shut down for gambling or something like that because of these horses. When I was writing that wee tracker, I was wondering, I was like, oh God, I've wrote pick a horse. That should say, shame. Shame. That's embarrassing, but yeah, pick a horse. As I said, odd will be the Woven Hemispheres. Even will be the Dornoch. Fantastic. But I'll be prepping a Burns supper tomorrow. The neeps and tatties, we kind of just go with it. We'll find what we can find. If it's Swede or if it's turn up, we'll make it meat. We'll definitely have oat cakes with it, and then sauce. Here's something. Whiskey sauce. Where some people need it dry. Like, no, you've got to have it dry. Other people like whiskey sauce. I think you need a sauce. I kind of have to dry on an oat cake as well, with oat cakes. But everybody's different. I get that. Let me know. Just seeing there, yeah. Signing off for tonight, folks. Regarding Orkney, just keep in mind they classify The Wicker Man as a documentary, and Sky the movie class as a rom-com. True facts. Hamish, brilliant to have you in as always, mate. Take care. Speak to you soon. If you're lucky, any number, go with the trifecta 246. I want a sobriety check on those horses. I think they're all right. Maybe it's the fumes. Maybe the fumes. And we've got number 3 or 6. They fall. 2. Right. 5. 6. 4 again. Horse racing, I think you mean Sham. My number 6 had it in the back. This is the best Saturday night entertainment since Noel Edmonds' house party. We just need Blobby to appear. Right. Here we go. Apologies for the noise, guys, but let them warm up. And they're off. Right out of the gate. Look, here we go again. 6 is bombing it. 5 close behind. Followed by 2. Up. Followed by 3. 3's making a gain. 6 looks like it's got it again. It's 6. Oh no. 3's moving fast. It's 6. Up. 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 No, 3's dead. 6. I'm going to go for 6. I'm calling 6. 6 got it. Followed by 2. Followed by 1. Followed by 5. And then Free's just convulsing on the floor. I don't quite know why it's doing that. It's weird. I don't know why it's done it. And there you go. There we go. 6 had it. 6 got it in the bag, guys. Calling 6. I'm calling 6. It came up. It moved. The fact it moved slowly. See, it's still down. Technically, 6. But 6 moved first. 6 definitely moved first. Doesn't matter if it was 2 or 6 because they're both even, so it doesn't make any difference, the dram. But I am saying that 6, if you watch carefully, 6 moves up first. You can watch it in the replay. I was watching the what tilted first, and if it moved slightly, the nose is over the line. The nose is over the line. No, it was 2. Fixed. Told you, 3 would fall. I think you jinxed it, but it shouldn't have fell. I don't know why it fell. Who knows? But so close. So it means we're gonna Dornoch, which works out well because there we go, closest to the Black Isle that we can have on the go. Well, technically Glenmoe closest. This one is, if you don't know, PX Octave, 50 litre, bottled on 7th of February 2024. It is just over 4 years old. I love this bottle. I do love this bottle. It's been with me for a while now. I've dished it out to people. The PX in it, it's such a weird profile. I just find that in the glass it gets more and more and more red fruit and berries from that PX. To have Raven Bonkers in the Black Lodge. Had haggis at Bree and Stirling, which is a good traditional place to have it. I must say I preferred the Cullen Skink for traditional Scottish, but I'm glad I had it in Scotland. Yeah, like there's some Cullen Skink as well is another one that's lovely. I do like Cullen Skink when I'm in Scotland at certain places. But there's that Dornoch spirit. Wee bit vegetal, a bit mezcal-y. The mezcal is like a kind of almost a smoke. It's strange, but that's so sweet now. That PX cask, the sweetness in that is just developed over time. But then it keeps coming back to like this floral, and when I say vegetal, almost leafy taste. I think it is. I think it's a 500ml bottle, so it's slightly smaller, but it does follow a very similar kind of almost at the top kind of champagne style, champagne-esque flurry. The Living Souls bottles are great though, aren't they? Again, I nearly put that Living Souls bottle I picked up, that was on the last live stream, is delicious, really good. Like really good. Really enjoyed it. It's just such an interesting one to have in the mix. I know it's a privilege to have it, but from a Burns point of view, the fact that his favourite distillery was up near that neck of the woods and getting that spirit down to Glasgow back then as well. Horse and carriage. A lot of good stuff up that part of the world. If you've been, you'll know. If you've never been, go. Get to Inverness and then just keep going. just keep going. Stunning part of the world. Cannot wait to go back. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I know somebody that's went recently, a content creator, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to be putting out as well from their point of view up that part of the world. It's brilliant, especially going up at this time of year. I've never been up there this time of year. I'm trying to find an excuse to go back. Really try to find an excuse to go back. Frank saying, love Cullen Stink. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? It's just, I'm not a big fan of chowder, but Cullen Stink, all day. Cognac style bottles. Yeah, it is cognac style, that's what I'm thinking. Frank's saying, final dram of the night, as we're talking Orkney, he's going to go for an SNWS Highland Park 12-year-old. Brilliant. I dare to say, and I think Living Souls use cognac shaped bottles too, yeah. I like a good bottle shape. I do like a good bottle shape. Quinter Rubin, before the Glenmore rebrand, when it was a black bottle, had a very similar style bottle as well. Cognac bottle, and it was a sexy looking bottle. Really sexy looking bottle. Donald Whisky Festival is a great excuse. I know, it's just the cost. It's the cost of the Donald Whisky Festival as well. And the timing, because it's November, isn't it? Is it October, November? I'm just trying to work things out. This year, locking in on stuff. I've got something coming up. I've got a trip, hopefully, an overnight happening in March, late Feb, beginning of March, that I'm really excited about. I can't talk about. It's not Scotch. That's all I can say. It's not Scotch, but it's something different, and I'm really going to make a concerted effort to make a video that's a wee bit different. It's not that different, but it's going to be quite a... I'm Drams on the Run, but a really good one. I'm really excited for it. The planning started on that. So I've got that to look forward to. There's some other wee bits and pieces. There'll be some Drams on the Run, just the usual kind of like bottle shop, duty-free style ones. Harking back to Patreon get like duty-free uploads. If I travel anywhere, they get the duty-free videos, minimal editing, but like what's on the shelf, and taking through people what's on there. But really looking forward to it. So I'm excited for that. But as I said, I'm looking at like where should I go in Scotland, because hopefully get up there a couple of times this year. What should I do, guys? By all accounts, let me know in the comments in the chat. Is there anywhere particular you'd like to see me go in Scotland? Give me an excuse to go. Campbelltown's obviously a biggie. Orkney's came up tonight. Not from me, but from people looking to go. Is that somewhere, or is it more like off the beaten track ones that maybe are overlooked that we don't think to go to, or is there some that you can't get to and I should try and maybe see if I can wangle something? Why they would let me in, I don't know, but do you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And yeah, I never saw that. So the 10's going up to 46. Fuck, that's actually happening. It is beautiful. We'd love to stay at Donald Castle to a few nights when the Northern Lights are active, drinking amazing old whiskey and watching the sky. I know, I was talking to one of the guys up there that works for the lads, and that's what he says. He moved up, he's English, he moved up there, and he's like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable when the Northern Lights come on. He's got that app, and it just beeps all the time. And then in the summer, when it's just not dark, it's like you get this yin and yang. It's such a beautiful part of the world. My wife is addicted to the Beckham close shot across from Donald Castle. That would be a good excuse for a date night. Exactly, yeah. I tell loads of people this about like how Dornoch is just, because of the golf course and stuff, has this unbelievable yin and yang, where you have amazing whiskey and golf and whatever, but then you have everything else. You have the spas and the shopping and all that kind of stuff. And people are like, really? And I'm like, they know what they're doing. Orkney, please. Isla. I'd love to go to Islay. It's just costing Islay. Islay just, it doesn't feel big enough to be able to like go, if that makes sense. Campbelltown Malts Festival, yes, that's no, Ardnamurchan. I'd love to go to Ardnamurchan. Big Ardnamurchan fanboy. They got my whiskey in the last year was an Ardnamurchan year, weirdly, for the channel because they won fucking March Dram Madness with the cast strength, and then they won my whiskey of the year with the Midgie. And I really wanted to go last year when we were up in Scotland. It's fucking middle of nowhere, and you have to stay overnight because I'm not going to Ardnamurchan Distillery dry, and then leaving dry. Like, and you can't drive with a drink at all in Scotland, so it's one of those. I'm trying to figure out how can I get there. So I need to win the lottery and get a helicopter pilot and just get there and get it. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe organise like a trip, a giant tent, get driven there and stay in a tent with loads of people and then drive back. I don't know. Fife, Daftmill, Kingsbar, Linden, stay at the Fife Arms, and perfect. Like, but exactly, see, that wouldn't even have crossed my mind, to be honest. But that's doable. That's not even difficult. Fly into Edinburgh and then just across, hire a car, and do that. Because I think sometimes you can overthink where you should be going. I'd love to go to Limburg. I'd love to go away and stuff. It's just really difficult at the moment. It's taking time away. With the wee one at the age she's at. Perhaps you can visit some of the nightclubs you used to go to in Glasgow and review the whiskey selection at the bar. Look, when I was up there for the funeral, we went to a few of the bars and a few of the... We've never made it a nightclub, thank God. Nah, those days are... Most of the nightclubs I went to don't exist anymore either. They've either had mysterious fires or they're just like call centres now. You'd be surprised we stayed in Beaumont and all done within a reasonable budget. Yeah, no, I think it's definitely, I would love to go. One of my colleagues, one of my good mates that I work with, he went with friends up and down here and they stayed there, and his favourite's Killila. He loves a Killila. And said it was unbelievable, and they went as a group of guys and did like, I think they were like 3 or 4 days. So I know it can be done. It's just time. Just up against it with time. Not going to Ireland because it doesn't feel big enough. No, what I mean is from that, it's more the it's the cost and the accommodation on Ireland, where it's like the timing of when you want to go and getting there and being able to get there and get in and out. I feel like from May onwards, it's a losing battle until autumn, and then it's just, do you see what I'm saying? I probably never worded it right. I just been like, in terms of the island and the accommodation, and I know they've opened new hotels, but they're all geared towards taking as much money out of you as possible. Foghouse Bar in Inverurie, brilliant. I did Cameron Bridge too. And then Frank saying, was on a motorcycle to Ardnamurchan last year, let's put it mildly, not dry, stormy wind and soaking wet, but a great visit was. Saved the drinking for later that evening. Yeah, it's because even the distillery is so further out as well, isn't it? There's nothing next to it. It's not even like you can stay there and then make like Craig Ellicky wise, where you can get from A to B without. Especially off season, and don't buy too many bottles October holidays. Aye, it would need to be off season. Having in-laws in Port Ellen definitely helps. Brother-in-law works at Laddie, see stuff like that. Especially with the influx of Scottish tourism has went off the scale in the last year and a half. Like, I mean, like more than ever. And so there's so many people coming now who maybe would have went to America, like these holidays, people are staying and people aren't travelling and stuff, or Americans coming over. It's just the demand, so trying to book anywhere, you need so much time to get it in advance, and it's really hard for me to try and do a family holiday up there because that's not going to fly. And it's became, yeah, It's became expensive settling and travelling your own if with a group you might rent a house or so. Exactly. So it's trying to just work the logistics, and that's what I meant by when I was saying it's no big enough, if that makes sense. There's not enough accommodation where it can be cheap for solo travel. Planning my Scotland trip with my father this year: Glasgow to Ardnamurchan, over to Mull, down to Oban, on to Islay, then Barley to Bottle. Brilliant. Give yourself time. I hope you've given yourself time to do place to place, because the map and the distance doesn't look a lot, but the roads, that's the one thing that kind of catches a lot of people out about Scotland, especially Americans, when it's like, oh yeah, no, I've 3-4 hour drive, no problem. It's like, no, it's not. It's no freeway. It's just 3 and 4 hour drive on some of these roads. It feels like a 12-hour journey. Jules saying Ardna used to have a cottage in sight, but they've let a couple of employees take it over. She thinks it's a brilliant company to take it. Yeah, no, absolutely. Now you really do need a driver, yeah. And then Campbelltown, yeah. Campbelltown's marked down. Campbelltown, and then yeah, 11 days planned. Don't worry, I've been to Scotland. Yeah, no, exactly. I'm sure you did. I was just making sure, just triple checking, because even if you've been loads of times, we did it in 3 days, stupidly, and smashed as much as we could in, but barely scratched the surface last summer. It's lovely. It's really, really good. And I've just seen, just was saying, what about Aaron? Yeah, exactly. Aaron's another one, but there's the ferries and stuff like that. I think what we discovered, so when we went to Dunoon at Christmas time, the reason I picked Dunoon was because I've never been to Dunoon. I'm from Glasgow, never been to Dunoon. And we went, and some of the footage I've got, it was beautiful, man. Like, it's a lovely part of the world. My mum had never been to Dunoon, and we took her, and she's like, how am I going to get home? I says, we're going to put you in this ferry. You get off the ferry, you walk 3 minutes, you get on the train, and you're at Glasgow Central in 45 minutes. She's like, right, why have I never done this before? Arran's the exact same. I've never been to Arran. Like, Scottish people are terrible at travelling, like, amongst their own places. We just, well, I don't know if it's a Glaswegian thing, but just very stuck in our ways. Even my brother said that, where he was like, it's so bizarre not being to these places, and they're right on their doorstep. And I think living down here, I remember saying about going to Edinburgh for a job interview, and people that I knew were like, are you staying overnight? Because that 45-minute train journey felt like the other, well, it is the other side of the country, but that time was such a distance. I'm about that on my normal daily commute each way. So it's enough, like, time is all relative. So I really want to go to Arran. There's so many places, but even that Fife one stuck with me as well. Going there and maybe hitting up a few of those. Daffmill would be the dream, wouldn't it? But there's loads. There's loads. Coming back up to the chat. Great return, and a great whiskey bar opening soon to take advantage of your kid head tasting and visit the cage. I do. I can't wait. Campbelltown, it's big penciled in. So I can say big penciled in. And if I make it, if everything goes according to plan, the amount of videos that are going to get made, hopefully, I'm going to try and make them early in the trip, because there's nothing worse than trying to edit videos after you've had a few drams, like watching yourself after a few drams. Really tough. 3 of us stayed at the Bowmore Hotel in Maine, used electric bikes to get around, worked brilliantly. Then Glasgow 1770s make me feel a bit better. I've been to the Botanic Gardens north of Dunoon, but never been to Dunoon itself. It's lovely. There's no any, the town itself, there's not much, but where we stayed in a holiday park just round the corner, right on the Holy Lock, and then you can go around it, and then you're on Loch Long, and it's just stunning, man. You know you're getting old when you're just like water and hills. You like love it, absolutely love it. And it's a great trip too. I was there when the festival was on, but too hungover to pick up my festival ball on the Sunday. Good trip then. Great way to get to Campbelltown to take ferry to Arran and then onto the Kintyre Peninsula. But the ferries are mental in terms of breakdowns and stuff, are they not? I think last year the ferries didn't even run. Even when you've been to Scotland many times, you can still be stuck. In all the lodges. Inverary to Loch Gilpig took me over 2 hours, and then to Tarbat an hour. What planning? Yeah, definitely a Glaswegian thing. I've never been to Skye or Arran. Exactly, it's weird, isn't it? It's really weird. Just no interest. And when we were in Dunoon, if you're Glaswegian, you'll know Optimal and the Sub Club, and just, well, the Sub Club in general is a nightclub. Such a huge part of my kind of formative years. One of the best clubs probably in Europe and the world, nightclubs. They had Harry and Dominic from the Sub Club who used to do Subculture. They were playing in Dunoon just before, like at the Christmas period, like 2 weeks before we got there. And I'm like, right, it's an age thing, but they were bringing people over. They were coming up for Glasgow, going to Dunoon, doing this big show, big piss out, spend the day and the night, and then go back to Glasgow the next day. And I'm like, of course you would. I don't know if it's just an older thing. Because you're saying ferry Arran from Ardrossan and leave via the ferry until it gets you over to visit Campbelltown. I think if I do it, maybe go that way as well, because I'm not taking that bus. I know people on the stream right now took the bus. Fair play to yous. Nah, I can't be dealing with 3.5 hours on a bus. I know it's beautiful, but no. Maybe he's got Springbank School in July, can't wait. So originally I was going to do the Eat, Sleep, Dram, Repeat for my 40th. And then they put the price up a wee bit as well. And then we worked it out, and at its base price it was $8.50. Or was it $9.50 it went up to? And I'd started watching Bruzo, and that's why I ended up going to Kentucky, because for the same money I got 3 nights, was it 3 nights? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It was 4 nights accommodation and flights to Louisville, Kentucky, as it would have cost me for the Eat, Sleep, Dram, Repeat at Springbank. So that's why I went to Kentucky. Because I really struggled to justify it, and it was going to be it was February, and I went to Kentucky in March. DJ Harry, that was it. Francis, pretty relaxed about you visiting the distillery. You just got to get in touch, make sure he's not too busy. I had a good chat with him at Glasgow Whisky Festival, and he pulled a couple under the counter drams for me, so I really enjoyed that. But that's it. As long as he's not too busy, he's a farmer at the end of the day, isn't it? Where we at? Sorry guys, I've got two chat screens. I've got the screen where I put you guys up on the screen, and then the one I'm actually reading. Adrian's in Subby. Exactly. The Dunoon and Kill ferries can be a great alternative, overlooked by many. Aye. Oh God, Spring has saying the Archies and the Tunnel and our Chaos. Aye, those amongst many. The Shack. Bloody the Shack and Trash as well. Mysterious Fires. That vegetal and that donut, it just sits there under it, and that sweetness of the PX works really well. But this is definitely a Drammer's Dram. You couldn't give this to somebody off the bat and just be like, here, have that. Yeah, absolutely. The Archies. Becoming a bowling now, sadly. For you, Alan, we'll have a wee hemispheres to finish up for the evening. 51.4%, non-chill filtered. It is on the back. They have this great wee thing, wee chart for people. Don't know about woven, and it goes fresh, balanced, complex, exploratory, and it's right over near exploratory after complex. So let's see. Let me try to see. Terry, New Zealand maker of Manuka smoked single malt, one of Scotland's largest distillery, urban yet elegant. I think it's North British. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's North British. With Thompson. The result is a smoky and herbal whiskey that celebrates ever-expanding horizons of flavour. As I said, the reason for this on the Burns Night one is because New Zealand is far, far, far away. But I bet you there's Burns Night suppers happening there, which would be tonight, based on timings. So that go a wee bit. I can't quite understand your tasting notes in the download. Can you please send me a sample so I can understand you better as a person? Like, if I could, I would. If I could, I would. But we just need to. We'll need to figure a way. I'm also part of my year this year is trying to figure out a way of maybe doing a couple of like meetups of just getting together with you guys for a few drams and stuff like that. It's weird trying to even say stuff like that because it feels like, oh, we'll get meetups as if I'm like, it's not about that at all. But just get together. I'm terrible in real life at getting together with people because of work and family. But I want to make a conscious effort to see more people as opposed to when it's at Glasgow Whisky Festival and it's 3 days of chaos and then you don't even see people. People at Glen, didn't see them once the entire weekend, which is mad. Bumped into people the whole weekend, bumped into Frank and stuff like that, brilliant. But to sit down and have the time with them and try and find that time. So I'd love to do a bit more of try to organise stuff. And if I did, then I'd be bringing many, many bottles. Or if you're ever in London, even easier, just get to London. Plenty of drams available. Not seen any woven at all. Assuming it's UK only right now. No, I think woven. I think they've managed to get. I think they're distributed. I don't know. If you've not seen it, then I'm not sure. But Pete does a good job. The stuff's good. Like, it is good. And I always make the joke that it just looks like fancy soap. Because you're saying easy dram repeat is great, but it was quite an investment. I really enjoyed it, but it did take me quite some time to pull the trigger due to the price. Yeah, no, not exactly. I've like, there was going to be a few of us going to do it, and then it was just, we would have to get from London to Glasgow, and that's the cost. Then Glasgow to Campbelltown, that's the cost. We'd do that, fine, but then they're spending money on top, and then coming back, and it was just all mounted up, and you're trying to justify in your head going to Campbelltown in February, spending that amount of money. Whereas you say Kentucky, and that's a yeehaw adventure, that's mental. And that was more palatable. That was kind of the thing behind it that made it. And we did. We absolutely did. And that's it. I just want to do more. I just want to get out more and see more people. We're London again this year for the show. Hope to meet you there. Exactly. And I like the idea, but not quite enough to come to London for you. Don't come for me. Come to London for whatever reason you need to, and then just let me know you'll come to London. And we'll sort it. I absolutely love London. I have a few friends living there. Dirty, thank you so much. Next enjoyable chat. Time for bed night. All. Thank you for joining. And all the experience I've had in London were terrible, but I don't have any friends there. London's one of those cities that is a collection of towns. It's the only way I can put it, where you need to know it. Otherwise, you will, if you try and wander and find a good time, it will be difficult. I think New York's similar, like Manhattan. If you don't know someone from Manhattan, then you're going to struggle as well, because you're going to end up focusing on these core touristy pool areas. And it's the same with whiskey drinking in London. What is it to say about London? Home of the brash, outrageous and free. Aye, well, there's nothing free about London, I can tell you that. But it's one of those... that's why I did that's why... Again, we're going to... Let me see if I can do that. We'll do that, we'll cut in. The Drams in the Run. That's the London edition, which basically breaks down London whiskey. From my point of view, my own personal point of view, but with some London whiskey, well, people employed by whiskey in London. Got some of their viewpoints in there as well, which was really telling, and really interesting. It's a weird city. It's massive. Like, went today with my daughter for a drive, and we live in I think we're about zone 5 or 6, but like we're outside the central bit of London. You drive and you just drive, and it's just buildings forever. Just keeps going, never stops. Whereas Glasgow, you drive I feel like you drive 15 minutes from the city centre, you can be outside. You're in like hills. There's hills, there's water, there's whatever. Whereas in London, you drive and drive and drive, and it's just concrete. So when I first opened this Hemispheres, this woven, and I think Alan, if Alan's still in the chat, I'd said to him, I got kind of like tire, I'm sure it was Alan that said that, like tire, like burnt rubbery type vibes off it. But it's been opened for a while now. I'm not getting that anymore. I'm getting a kind of richness to it. Quite a viscousy coating. I don't know if it's because we know it's Manuka or whatever, but almost like a honey type softness to it that coats the palate. No too sweet. Not too sweet at all. I have my 2-day pass booked for London, my lodge booked for Malts Festival in the Castle John Donne. Not sure what else I can add this year at this stage. Oh, mate, what else do you need? What else do you need? Seriously? Perfect. So saying, I do think it's fascinating. Perspectives can differ in places. I know people absolutely love certain places I can't stand. Different strokes for different folks, I suppose. Exactly. It just depends on what you know. I used to like London, prefer Glasgow. Like, I'm with you, Frank. Obviously, I'm Glaswegian. I'm going to have a preference. But Glasgow is Glasgow, right? And you have a core of Glasgow. And you can walk it. You can walk east to west. But London's bigger than just that. That's the problem I have with London. It's very different. It's very different everywhere you go. And like my brother, when he moved down, lived in North London. I lived in southeast, and as the crow flies, maybe 7 miles, 8 miles apart. Take me an hour and a half to get to them each way, which is a 3-hour round trip. So it's a day. Take me a day to go and see my brother. And my mum used to be like, why do you not see each other more often? I'm like, it just doesn't work that way. It's too big. Might be saying, looking forward to Woven coming here to the States soon. The newer stuff as well coming out. They did one that's an all English blend. And it's phenomenal. It was so fruity. And I think they're in a good. I'm hoping they're in a good place. There's a lot of downturn and stuff in whiskey, but I think they're doing it the right way. They've got really good people working for them as well. It was in last Dram of the Night, Kilkerran 12, brilliant. So Kilkerran 12, Talisker 10. I'm obviously saying the Kilkerran 8 because I don't have the 12. Great Haggis Drams. Great with Haggis. Nice simple grain to finish. Thompson Brothers North British 33. Tilting my cap to the best set in the world. Might divide the crowd here. Are you tilting your cap to that North British 33 at Edinburgh? Oh, I don't know about best city. Best ornament, maybe. I do always assume you're sitting in Scotland here. No, I know you're not. Best city in the world. Not sure what you mean by that. Glasgow. I think he's talking about Edinburgh. If he's having a North British 33. But maybe it is. If it's Glasgow, then I'm all for it. But Darcy, my 89-year-old mother's talking about wanting me to take her to Scotland. She's very good shape for her age and she loves Scotch since 60. She's below the knee, amputee, so challenging. Mate. Can you find a way, like, where are you based again? Donner Pass? Whereabouts are you? Because I'm sure you could manage. No, I'm no Docklands. I'm southeast. I'm on the cusp of. You could say I'm on the cusp of Kent. I'm over Bromley way. It's very green, hence why I'm in the woods all the time, thankfully. But still close enough to London, you can get in and out fairly easy. I'm joking, Glasgow's miles better. I've got my Glasgow look. We all know that, as I can show you. Oh, what's happened there? Why is that not connected? The camera's not changed. It's froze. Believe it or not, that's not what the camera's pointing at. Oh well, I was going to show you I got a Glasgow's miles better sign on the wall right beside it, just to remind me. California, surely from California you can do. I'm just trying to think the easiest way for you to get up to Scotland. Get to Heathrow and then internal transfer up to Glasgow, and then from there you'd be amazed at the accessibility and stuff that you'd be able to do. I think you could absolutely do it. But that's a big challenge, and it is a challenge, and I appreciate that. Donner Pass is based at Donner Pass. No, but the problem is the Donner Pass is also in Kerry. There's a Donner Pass in Kerry, I'm telling you. I'm sure it's the Donner Pass. That's why it always confuses me. There's the Connor Pass. If I just get this completely mixed up, the Connor Pass. Is there not a Donner? Yeah, I've got you mixed up with the Connor Pass. And then Donner Pass is California. I know, yes. So that's why I was just checking. Frank, but thank you for putting me in my place, because I always think Donner Pass, I always think Connor Pass, which is Dingle Peninsula. It's the back road and it's beautiful as well. But get the two mixed up. This thing is, you just go into Google Maps and look for the giant black lodge. If you look at when I tag in on Instagram, there is a black lodge and the location is just like in the middle of water somewhere. So I always just tag that in. I think it's quite funny. And the guys are saying, everybody in the chat is saying, yes, come to Edinburgh, the best city in Scotland. Lowlander, I never asked, are you HEARTS or are you a Hibble? What are you? Because I'm intrigued, because either way, big weekend. Yeah, but I think that's what the guys are saying. The transportation and stuff that you would like the driving, and then when you're there, it's relatively because they've built out so much of the tourism, the accessibility is there for like good ones that you would want to go to. Dornoch, you'd literally park up outside the hotel. It's all flat from there. The drive's relatively easy. If you've got a driver or if you're doing drive yourself, hire just a nice car and be comfortable. It's doable. Right, guys, we're hitting the last 5 minutes. Going to do 12:15 hard stop. Can I hear the rain bouncing off the roof? Best thing to come to Edinburgh is the M8 to Glasgow. Look, I've read it. If you're ever on Reddit, someone posted up saying like, oh, I'm looking at moving, got a job, should I take this job in Edinburgh? I need to commute from Glasgow to Edinburgh. How is it? And years ago when I first started my career, what I do now, it was like base salary. I think it was 12.5 grand. So it was no money, no travel fees, nothing. Living in the east end of Glasgow, and it was in Edinburgh on Queen Street, pretty much next door to where SMWS is now. And couldn't afford the train ticket. Was like £24 a day, and I had to get the bus. I had to get up at 5:30 every morning, get to Buchanan bus station, get the 6:30 bus, and then I'd pull in at the Edinburgh bus station at 8:30, and I'd just walk across. I'd have some porridge in the office, and then I had to be out the door for 5:30. Luckily, it was right next to the bus station. I'd be on the 5:35 bus, and I'd be home at 7:45 every night. So I don't have fond memories of that at all. None at all. Dunfermline Athletic FC there. It was a good result of the day. I'm sure I heard something about Neil Lennon doing well today. I'm on a roll. Although I do support, let's see, I don't care. Although I do support a team playing against Southern Rangers. It's like most of Scotland, I want to see Hearts win the league this year. It's been great. It's been a great season, football-wise. We never really talk about it, don't we? Well, and the Pullman half. Oh God, Pullman. Civilization in Glasgow. Richard saying Jan Tarts, fingers crossed. It's saying yes, 1-0 away to St Johnstone. Good win. Good win. Especially after the cup win as well. Good couple of weeks. So as we're coming to an end, guys, look, as always, your support, everything means everything to me. Keeps the channel going. There is some videos due to come out. I finally organised a whole load of footage that was across multiple like desktops and folders and files. So there'll be new videos coming out They might not be the cleanest edited ones, but they will come out. I just need to get rid of some of that footage. I want to get it out there and then move on from it because I feel like it's hanging over me. Tonight's been a pleasure. So anybody that's tuned in for an extensive Robert Burns, Rabbie Burns, Burns Night extravaganza, I apologise. There's no haggis. There's been a bit of Burns chat, but you need a theme. Everybody needs a theme. Thank you so much for on the Jags. I always put that up. Absolutely. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for joining me in the Black Lodge as always. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. There should be someone else doing a live stream next Saturday night. Can you see? I don't think he's announced it yet. But he gave me a ping to say, oh, by the way, I'm doing a live stream on Saturday night. Is that? It's like, it's not my week. It's my week off. So you'll have someone next week if you want to jump in and do stuff there. I am doing some content creation the following week. So when I come back from the live stream, we'll have some fun and games to look forward to. But guys, as always, thank you so much for your time and your company, and I will see you soon. Cheers.